Okay, scholars, so I have my materials and I want to show you guys what I do once I have kind of my cereal box cut open. Now, if you cannot find a cereal box, any kind of cardboard box will do, but you don't really want creases in it. But if you have no other choice, like if you have to make a smaller box bigger, that's okay. Like, whatever. Art is art. But we're gonna try and make a nice rectangle. And I'm gonna teach you a little trick about art, which is a lot of times we make art on a white piece of paper. And when we actually make something on a different color piece of paper, it just adds a little bit of interest because it's like we're not used to it, right? Okay. Now I am going to take my magazine, okay, and I'm gonna find a page in here or my junk mail or whatever. I already took out a page that I thought was good. I don't want these pictures, really. I mostly want the text or the words. So I'm gonna go ahead and use those. I kind of like this, but let's see. I'm gonna tear this picture off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tear this up into a few kind of interesting pieces. Maybe that kind of big, and now I have like this, and that's going to be helpful. Now I need to find a piece of paper that I can just use for, oh, I also like this one, so, sorry, my camera keeps moving. It's kind of blowing in the wind here. I think I'll use this too. I like this. Okay, I'm probably not going to use all of those pieces, but now I have a few choices. Okay, and I'm just going to use the front of my magazine for gluing things down. So I'm going to put something under this on my table. Help a little bit. Okay. All right, now I'm going to kind of arrange these from the outside in. So if I have any flat edges here, I'm gonna kind of put them on a flat edge or a corner like that, okay? And this one kind of looks like a flat corner, so I think I'll do it from there. And do a couple. My pieces can overlap, no problem, or they don't have to, okay? I'm just gonna lay them out in a way. I don't really like this one, so I'm not gonna use that one. I'm just gonna lay them out in a way that looks kind of good to me, and I can try it in a different way. What I'm creating here is I'm creating some positive shapes and some negative space, right? And my positive shapes are more organic, right? They're kind of like torn up pieces. I wonder if this might work better. Oh, I kind of like that there. And then, do I want to put this here? It doesn't really matter. However you want to do it is really fine, okay? And now I kind of have an idea there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now when I glue, I'm going to tell you something. You don't want to do your gluing here, okay? And I bet you know why. If I do my gluing there, my glue is going to get the rest of my paper all gummed up. So this piece of paper that I have over here is just for the purpose of gluing, and I can go all the way to the edge with my glue stick on my paper, and I don't have to worry if my background gets all gummed up. It doesn't really matter. And now I'm going to put this on here kind of along the edge like I said. Okay, and you can work alongside me, okay? As you're doing yours, I'm gonna do mine. You can pause your video anytime you need to. Okay, I think we said it was something like, oh, It doesn't matter, however you want to have it, okay? And believe it or not, what we are creating here is just a base, or kind of like a background for the rest of our stuff to go on. Do I like that there? Yeah, I kind of like that there. Okay, and so basically we're creating an interesting background that's not just a white piece of paper, okay? And real artists do this all the time. They will create sort of a base to their artwork to make it more interesting and a more interesting surface to paint or draw on. Ooh, I like that. How should this be? Oh, I kind of like, well, that goes together, but I think I'll do like that. I kind of like that. Okay, so I am using 4 pieces of this text paper in mine. You might use more, you might use less. There's no right way and there's no wrong way to do it. This is an ish kind of artwork. Okay. Do I feel like that's pretty good? Yeah, I do. I feel like that's pretty good. Do I want to add any more? No, I want to save some of this background space so that I can do the next thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take my primary colored paper and I'm going to make some shapes with it. Okay, and you know, kindergartners would cut a shape right out of the middle, right? But you guys are second graders, or some of you are even older than second graders, and you know that you're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to start from a side, okay? And let's see, I think I'm going to make an organic kind of line here, and then maybe my shape is really also a line. Do you see that? And I'm going to do like that. And maybe, ooh, look at how that shape is made. I can also use that if I want to, just by cutting this out. If I like this shape, I'm going to be able to use that, okay? I can also fold my paper if I want and make some, here I'm going to make a geometric shape. And when I open it up, let's see what I get. Sometimes it's just fun to kind of experiment and see what happens. Let's see. Ooh, that's kind of a cool shape. And then I made some other shapes over here already, and I want to kind of show you what they are. I made this one that was kind of geometric here and then organic there. I made triangle. I made some, this is an organic shape. Okay, this one I made a geometric shape on the inside. I think I folded this one over. Oh yeah, I did, right? And I cut it out that way. And then I created an organic shape on the outside. A heart is a nice shape. Whatever shapes you want to use are fine. You can use a shape like this that was made just by, you know, cutting something out. You can put shapes on top of each other. I'm going to show you what I mean by that in just a second. On here, I'm going to show you some of the shapes in my example, okay, which I cut out these teardrops by folding this in half, and then I used both of the shapes. I used a heart. This circle, I repeated the shape and I just made it smaller and smaller. I made a rhombus on there. Any of those are fine. Okay, so now let's get started. We have some shapes over here. You might want to cut some extras just so you have everything that you want. Okay, and maybe I'll make another circle. Circles are good shapes. maybe I'm gonna make a square inside that circle. Maybe not, whatever. And maybe I'll make, yeah, I don't know. What can I make here? I'm gonna fold this over to make a little fun shape. Maybe a star or something. You know, it's hard to make a star. So if it doesn't turn out like a star, that's okay, because it's still gonna be a cool shape. Let's see what I made here. Something like that. Ooh, that's fun. Okay. So now I'm gonna start laying these on here and figuring out how I want this to go. I need to use all 3 of my primary colors. Okay, so I need to use yellow, I need to use blue, and I need to use red. I think I'm gonna do a zigzag to kind of go across my page. And you might also want to use an element of art. I mean, not an element of art. Instead, it's called a principle of art, which is repetition. So for example, I might want to repeat some shapes in here. So maybe I'm going to do a heart. Maybe I'm going to use the negative shape of that. Here or something like that, right? I can lay that out there like I want. Maybe my shapes will overlap. I want to make sure that I'm using up my whole paper, right? That I'm not crunching all of my shapes into one spot, that I'm kind of spreading them out. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so I think that looks pretty good. Ooh, I'm gonna have another repeating shape here. Okay, and I might not have space for all of these. That's fine. I don't need to use all of them. And you also don't need to be very careful. It is a good idea to lay them out on your paper first to see how you like it. This page is all gunked up, so I'm gonna go ahead and use another page for gluing. And I think I'll start by putting this one down, okay? So I'm just gonna go all the way to my edge with my glue stick, and my glue stick, I wanna make sure I have enough glue coming out of it so I'm not trying to glue with like the plastic part, but the actually glue is coming out. I kind of like, you know, yeah, I think I'm gonna do like that. I like that. This shape I just love. So if I love something, then you know that you should use it. If you made something that you love, that means it's coming from you. That means you are an artist. Follow what you love. That's becomes your style when you follow something that you really love, okay? This one's hard to glue, so I have to be very careful and hold it down as I'm trying to glue it, because otherwise I can just rip. Is that where I want it? I can kind of place it before I stick it, and then I can move it if it's not quite right. I think that's good. I'm gonna let it touch the edge. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Something that you can do as an artist as you're doing collage is, if it's hard to stick it on like that, you could just turn it upside down and rub right where you stuck it on, and then it's really well stuck on there. But then I lost the place of all my other shapes. That's okay. You just kind of keep going. And I know I want to put this one in, and I might want to turn this around and say, like, what does it look like this way, or whatever, because this is a piece of artwork that can be seen from a lot of different sides. Okay, it's a little bit an abstract looking collage, isn't it? Which is like, we're not doing something, a picture of a, you know, teddy bear. No, we're doing shapes, we're doing positive space, negative space. I think I'm gonna do this like this because I like those that repetition in there. Maybe you can find some repetition in your shapes. Now it can be either sort of like this, that has some repeating shapes, okay? Or it can be the cutouts that you use, and you use a positive shape and a negative shape, okay? Either way. Let's see. Oh, I definitely want to get this zigzag on here. I feel like that's a good, really good shape. So, remember, if my background paper that I'm sticking things on with is getting gummy, I am going to get a new one. How do I want that to go? I kind of lay it on there. Oh, could it go across here? Yeah, that's a lot of bunching up right over there, but what if I did it from, how do I want to do it? I think I want to do it like that. That feels good to me. That feels balanced. Kind of like I'm not focusing on, I'm not bunching it up, I'm spreading it out. Now this organic shape right here is going to be nice. I don't know. I'm going to overlap it with my zigzag a little bit. I'm going to put it there. And I wonder if I could build. I don't want to get it too crowded in there. I want to give some space, because what's going to happen next week is I'm going to be using some lines on this piece of artwork. So I don't, well, anyway, you can do it however you want, but this is how mine is starting to come together. Do I like this shape? Not really. I'm super drawn to these teardrop shapes. I really like a teardrop shape, so I'm just gonna make one right now. And the way I make one is like kind of a fat bottom, and it comes to that at the top. Oh, I think I want to kind of fix that up a little bit. Yeah, I like that shape. Where can I put it? I'm gonna put it in here. It kind of looks like this is a river, and then this kind of looks like a drop of something going into the river. So I kind of like that idea. All right, now, one thing about being an artist is you have to kind of figure out, when do I stop? When do I stop? I have not very much on that side. I think I want to put this triangle on. So I have some organic shapes and some geometric shapes. You too, try to get some organic shapes and some geometric shapes. And then you have to figure out when is a good time to stop. So I think I'm going to stop there. So I have a couple different examples, and you can look at these in either way, whatever way. Okay. I like it. Okay, but they're both using primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and they both create an interesting collage. Okay, thank you so much, scholars, for making artwork with me today. Join me next time for this lesson. Oh, I should say, hang on tight to this, because you're going to come back to this next week. So if you want to put it on your fridge or something like that, that would be fine. Put it in a safe place that you can find it again when it's time to come back to it again. Okay? All right, signing off.